need to add the various body styles to the wheel because I couldn't do that in time. I had to reopen Chrome and it didn't have any other stuff when I reopened it. Okay, so this shouldn't take too long at least, so we've got to get rid of that extra. Yeah. I want to be in order. Maybe it's obsessive, but I want the things to be in order. And then we'll go hatchback. I think we've got coupe. High performance sports. Got SUV. I'm just copying off what's on, not OBS, what's on the automation at the moment. I will add the music. I just add these and let it see how it goes. So we'll go truck, MPV, and van. Watches out of all these options, it gets spin again now. So, music, as I say. Okay, that's started up, that's going well. It'll get a bit louder in a moment. Now, we do have to see what body type we can get. So we'll go spin that again. And we've got a sedan, one of the more normal options. I don't know, like, I'm still concerned. We do have to make, no, another advert. We need to make the, stuff. I can turn that down on the headphones a little. We need to make this stuff work. So we've got a sedan, as it says. Now we're going to need to select a size. We're going to need to select, small, medium, and, not an extra space there. We need large. I was more organised than this, but yeah, things kind of got messed up. Okay, we've got a small sedan. We need to find just something that, for now, is appropriate. So, let's see what we've got. So, we need small. I mean, lots of these are, like, more mid-sized than small. This will do, 2.16. That is minuscule. So, for the time being, that will be a body that will serve its purpose. We now need to change the engine positioning to... I'll find out I'll have to change this after, in a moment. So we can do this, and then we can see what body's suitable. I will minimise it. Okay, so far so logical. I don't hate it. A small front-engined sedan or saloon, as you may call it. So far, I can't despise this. It should fit in this body then. Like, front engine should be like a given on most of these. We have that. That's still a little... That's... Yeah. I want something that's absolutely minuscule, though. It shows a hatchback here, so I'll have to change that if it's not appropriate, but there may be a saloon version, sedan version. I'll just call it sedan, because it's easier. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options. Let's see what we get for body material. Now I'm kind of getting into the flow of this. We're getting spin again. I am going to add spin again more. I should show the wheel. But anyway, yeah, you see it's landed on spin again. So, at least the important spin will be shown. Treated steel. That's heavy. It's heavy, but I believe it is pretty stiff and pretty solid, so the car shouldn't flex as much as if we had fiberglass, for example. Gonna need 6 options next. So let us see. If this doesn't support McPherson struts, I will change the body because we need that as an option to keep things fair. Okay. Could have been a ladder frame. It's not the best, just a regular unitary chassis, but I'll take it. This can be good. Whatever we get now, I don't think we can be really hard done by this, although I should not say things. Because the wheel is just going to do me in if it finds out what I'm thinking. Okay, we got a 3. A 3. That's corrosion-resistant steel. There's a lot of steel going into this. But you know what? I think we've still got a decent starting point. I can only hope at this point. So we've got front transverse or front longitudinal. I'm just going to cut these out with like the cut key because then I can just paste them in and it'll be a lot easier after this one smaller menu. Now, we are not going with where. We are going with fun. This makes too much sense. Honestly, this makes too much sense. I'm not kidding. I can't complain, though. We're free of the leaf springs. We're free of the evil leaf springs. This makes... Considering that what the wheel has decided, it's actually decided a pretty logical, like, 90s small hatchback. Well, it's not technically a hatchback, but you get the idea. So we have got number 2, is it? Okay, a bit less engine space, but I'll run with it. I think double wishbone is pretty good. Are we just building like a 90s Honda Civic here? Or something like that. Now, we have a lot of options on the way. That's why I wanted to do the cut and paste thing. Now I just do that and I've got all my options back. So much quicker. We're getting spin again. Well, it's not a number 1. Although, granted, a number 1 would have been coil, which isn't as bad as leaves, to be honest. It really is liking spin again today. But I like having that option because it does, like, it throws things into a spin where there would have just been a load of number 1s before. That kind of breaks it up a little and I feel it gives us a more even balance. Multi-link. You're making too much sense, Wheel. I feel like you're trying to mess me up and I don't like it. This is making sense. Why is a randomly spun car making more sense than some of the things I've built? It shouldn't be this way. Okay, so this is a hatchback body only, but we have got all the configuration sorted. So what have we got in terms of size? 2.4. I think I want to go below 2.4. So did I select a sedan? I did. And that comes up, which is a hatch. I have to look, like, is this one of those cars like the original Mini, where technically it's a sedan, but it kind of looks like a hatch? No, that is just a straight up hatchback pretending it's a sedan. Okay. A lot of these are a little longer than I would like. Okay, so 2.26. Will this do the job? No, that's a coupe. Crazy stuff going on. Crazy stuff going on. 2.4 is maybe considered small. Somewhat. I don't know, though. I feel, from what I'm seeing, I feel we're best going off with something that looks like it's from the 90s somewhat. Maybe early 90s, I'm getting those vibes from it so far. I know the suspension is a little better than something from the early 90s, but in terms of overall sizing and everything, I think we'll go with 2.4. It's on the larger side, but I would still consider 2.4 small. And yeah, this one does have a saloon body. I think it's just typically you are not getting a sedan saloon, I don't know, they're all blurring together in my head. But typically, if you're getting this kind of thing, well, at least it's hatchback. Some of these will be, I think we really want a 4-door if we can. That's still a hatchback, technically. Some of them will also say hatchbacks, and they won't be. Okay, that's sedan. That's a sedan as well, apparently. I kind of like that, but it looks a bit too much of a coupe. I think this is, like, distinctly a sedan. And I don't think anyone's really going to argue that even being a 2-door. Like, there are 2-door sedans. And especially in this size category, we don't have a whole lot of choice. So we've not got a convertible type. There wouldn't be a convertible type anyway with the body style we're going for. That would be kind of a convertible, I believe. Or probably more of a coupe, let's be honest. With a coupe, I could definitely stretch it to be a convertible. This, I couldn't. So, yeah, we can actually use our colour selector, which we don't have. Just give me a moment. I will find a colour selector. Because this is, I restarted the PC. And that's why this stuff isn't loaded up. But that was the only way I was going to get OBS and everything fully working. Let's see if this one will do the job. Because some of them don't display very well. Now, like, I don't think that will actually show on the stream very well. This may do the job. If it actually has the hex code. Okay. It's kind of on the edge of a screen, but I think we can make this work. Like, it's not showing very well, but I think you get the idea. So I go generate colour. we're getting pink. I'm just going to use this one. You see, there's a hex code. It's probably not going to show very well, but like you see I'm copying the code here. So we'll go first colour. We're going to go tweak that. Control V. That is our colour. Actually, well, it looks kind of purple on here. Yeah, purpley pink. Granted, I have got the eye protection mode on these monitors, so it may throw off how these actually look in reality. So we're going to go with the next colour, which will be yellow. I could see this working. They're very bright primary colours. I'm dropping frames horrendously. Okay, I'll give that a look in a moment. Is it stabilising? One moment. Okay, 2800 kilobits per second. Don't fail me now. It is failing me. It's still dropping frames. No, 2600. I have to lower the bit rate because I don't have much choice. No. One other thing I can check. This might fix it. I don't know. Now we don't have music, apparently. It should return in a moment. No, it's just... There it is. Hopefully this fixes the frame drops. Yeah. It's not going to look great on the end, but the other end, but it doesn't seem to be dropping frames. So that's progress. I hope I just caught that early enough. I do have the recording, but you know, I might as well just go through everything in case it was so stuttery. Here is the configuration. It makes too much sense for a completely randomised build. We will maybe get some more insanity along the run though. But I feel like the core fundamentals of this car are already decided. So we'll go cut that for later. And we will see what we get in terms of drivetrain. If it chooses a 2, it's going to be some form of all-wheel drive. If it chooses a 1, we're going to just go with front-wheel drive. Either will honestly work on this, I think. You see, it loves selecting spin again. I mean, that's just how it is, but it at least adds a certain level of interest. Front-wheel drive. What are you doing, wheel? You've made so many logical decisions for this type of car that it makes sense, and I kind of hate it. It's not messing with me. It's not doing anything strange or interesting. It's just building a very simple, logical car. Apparently, we are still dropping frames. Doesn't seem as bad as it was, though. I think it's survivable. So we have got, we've got to choose our engine type. There will be 4 options here. Let us see what it will turn out as. Inline. It's gonna choose an inline 4, isn't it? It's gonna choose an inline 4. Oh, no, it's an inline 5. Okay. Things are kind of interesting. Things are beginning to get interesting and not in a particularly bad way. It's like a miniaturized Volvo at this point from the early 2000s, and I don't hate this at all. Can probably get rid of that as well. That's showing up on the bottom. So we have got 7 options. And that is our easiest way of copying the 7 options in. Okay, magnesium. Is the wheel just feeling nice to me? Feeling like making a nice car for the new year? I really don't know. It is being unusually kind, I'll say that much. Oh dear, I erased a 4. I did not want to do that. we've got the third option, which is overhead cam. Okay. It's not direct acting. It's entirely decent, if not dual overhead cam. And in that, for this particular build, it may be actually not ideal, but better because it'll fit in the car a little better. So we've got 3 different options here. And we're going to spin again. I do wonder what it's going to give me. Hopefully something nice. Oh, you shouldn't have. A 4-valve overhead cam. Okay. This ain't bad. This ain't bad. I can run with this. Now we've got to add our other options. Yes, I did that correctly, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I wanted to like comb through that quickly enough, but not so quickly I just miss options. I don't know what you're plotting, Wheel, but so far this is a pretty nice engine. All I could ask for is dual overhead cam, but we've at least got a 4-valve per cylinder header, which is not bad at all. Wheel cars typically do not have that kind of number of valves. I think the first one did, but a lot of them end up with 2-valve engines in some form or another. So this, I would argue, is probably a little better than dual overhead cam, but with 2 valves. It's not bad, as I say, not bad at all. So we have stabilised, which is nice. The size. This particular body seems kind of bad. I'll have to hide the wheel. But yeah, this particular body doesn't seem too great. So I'm thinking I'll go and look back. Because I feel there's bound to be an older body from the 70s or something, which is, like, compact, at least in terms of length, and fits a decently wide engine. I will have to see. So this looks like it's the 1960s Ford kind of Cortina, or Consul, is it? Or just various ones like that. This is kind of a little older than I guess would be ideal visually, but ultimately I want to fit something like a 3-litre engine in this if I can. You know what, the Beetle? I'm not the biggest fan of the Beetle, but it does get into the size frame by the looks of it, and it may fit a wider engine. I mean, they were rear engine and they had like flat 4s. That's kind of a wide engine. Automation? You gonna work for me? There we go. I think it's working. I think we've selected the Beetle body. Yes, we have. So I'll have to double check it's actually selected the correct size, because, yeah, it has. Because if it didn't, I think this must just be a super complicated body or something, but automation just sometimes does that, and I don't quite get why. So far, though, it's fitting. I don't know about the engine. It is quite a packed engine, so we've got the sedan here. I mean, the Beetle is technically a sedan, 1930. Wow. They did make these in the 70s, though, so could kind of use that, I guess. Yeah, this body, I do apologise for the delay. It's just very slow to do anything with it, by the looks of it. So automation is running, even though it's supposed to crash on my graphics card. Automation is going, and it's going just fine, but the thing does want to crash. It just isn't going to. So, what else have we got to do with a wheel, I wonder? We've got the colours. I mean, it's not moving at all, so I'm going to have to just give it time, honestly speaking. If this crashes, then I'll have to load up the game again, and that'll be a bit of an inconvenience. But the PC is working. I can play around with the commands, because even that's working. Let's see how rich I am. It's done it. It's done something. Let's see if it actually tells me how rich I am anyway. I don't want to mess with this body, honestly. It's not because I don't like the Beetle even. It's just because it doesn't seem to work. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot of options. I am thinking maybe something more modern is better for like a smaller car. The Mini I don't think is going to fit much in, to be quite honest. We've got a whole number of bodies, but so few of them are actually tiny. I've acquired over 7,000 Guy coin, which is a thing. We don't talk about how I acquired them, I just did. So I'll probably go with a slightly larger version of this body. It's still small overall. We've got sedan, and we can see this one isn't having all the problems of a Beetle and taking like 5 minutes to do anything with it. I was actually concerned the game was going to crash or something. Okay. Of all of the bodies, this one seems pretty forgiving in terms of how large the engine is. It's not pretty. I won't pretend it's the prettiest car in the world. But if it fits an engine, then that is already kind of a win. So we've got this. This is another one. I don't know what exactly it is, or if it is even a sedan version. Yes, there is. This looks like it's a Honda Civic. I don't know, but it looks like that kind of body. It is double wishbone on the front, so I might have to just restrict it, like, to 3 litres or so. This is definitely one of the best cars, I think, for engine size in the small kind of size range, but we aren't going to fit much engine in. So I think we're going to just cap it out at 3 litres, because anything more than 3 litres, it just gets impractical. But that's why I wanted to measure it that way, because we can go cut that. So it's going to be either 2 or 3 litre. I think it was one I was messing around with off stream, and that had that same limitation where you couldn't just go with a bigger engine. You were stuck to like 4 litres or something, or it just wouldn't fit in the car. You know what? I'll take 3 litres as being pretty kind. That means we can fit something in here that's quite large. So if we go massively stroke bias, because that's the only way we're going to get close to 3 litres, to be quite honest. I mean, I think we can get close, yeah. It gets close, but that's the only way we're going to. But one advantage is it's 5 cylinders, so we have got a lot of cylinders to dissipate that over. Not quite a V6 you would typically see at 3 litres, but I can definitely make this work. As I say, the wheel is being surprisingly logical in the grand scheme of things. Because you do get 5 cylinders in front wheel drives. It's just usually larger cars. The 5-cylinder was available in a Volvo. I could have got, I think, B70, but I got a Citroen. And that has a 4-cylinder. But yes, they did have 5 cylinders in front-wheel drive Volvos. It's not inconceivable. I should really go back to all of the options we have. 1, 2, 7. We don't want to miss out one on this next spin. And are we going to get spin again? Like, this is one thing I'm noticing, though. Like, where it would have probably selected one before, it goes on spin again. But I like that, because it's a bit more balanced in how it's going to spin. It's not just going to select 1 a million times. We're going to get spin again a few times, and then we're actually going to get an option. And it's going to be a 7 in this case. It seems like gradually ease its way to the left, and it worked out in my favour. I feel like the wheel's plotting something, though. Forged light, I will take it. I think titanium's a little better, but at this point, I'm not in any position to complain. 5? What's that? Forged light, okay. In this case, I'm actually glad it went with a 5, not a 6 or a 7, because that's forged. That is not a cast element. Like, cast is just not generally as good. So we've got 3 options. We're going to get rid of that. And we've got 3 options to see. Also 4, I guess, if you count spin again. Are we going to get a 3? We got spin again. I was hoping for a 3, honestly. But as I say, at this point, the worst of it is over. We got a 1. But honestly, counterweights on this point isn't too bad. Hi, Elena. I am concerned at what's currently going on. I've had to lower the bit weight as well because of drop frames. But yeah, I'm concerned. Everything the wheel has chosen makes sense. It shouldn't. It shouldn't make sense, but this makes a little too much sense. It's not chosen front leaf springs or anything. It's just been kind. And even the engine, it's not done anything really weird with the engine. It's just been generally kind. And that's what concerns me, honestly. I am concerned. I mean, I did put spin again on the wheel as an option. It selected that quite a number of times. But yeah, I really don't know what to make of this. Like, I feel the wheel is planning something and I don't quite like it. Okay, we're not getting valve timing. I can live with that. I know it is plotting something. You know what? I'm getting the vibes of, what do you call it? front drum brakes because they don't want it to slow down. I don't know. But that's what I'm feeling. We've got... okay, are we going to go with a crazy turbo on this or something? Honestly, I wouldn't mind that. That would be fun. So we've got 3, I think. Yeah, I did that. That saves time if I go and copy and paste all that stuff back in. Or cut and paste, technically. Oh no, I'm sorry, I've been dumb. I'm going to have to respin this because I've just been completely dumb. I only need 4 options. Because it's like the different aspirations. Then if it gets a turbo, there's 3 options from there. As to the final type. Ooh, we're getting a supercharger. I like this. I like this. Maybe it's going to give me like drum brakes on the front and back. So it's going to give me an incredible engine, good suspension, all the rest of it. But then it's just not going to be able to stop for a corner. And it's just going to go into a bush. Maybe that's what it's plotting. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to know. We're going to get a spin again? No, are we going to get 3? That close. It could have been a spin again. It likes giving you really high-end superchargers, though. I noticed that. It's a weird habit of the wheel. So, like, it chooses supercharger, and then it gives you, like, high-end everything, like, down here. No idea why it likes doing that. It just does. Maybe I spoke too soon. Who knows? No, see, I said it, didn't I? Like, when you get to this point, it just gives you all the high-end stuff anyway. And that's, like, supposed to be by chance. Why is it doing that so consistently? It's just strange. It shouldn't be. Okay. Are we getting carburetor? Yeah, a supercar that can't stop. It's also, like, a tiny saloon. Like, this is minuscule. 2.3 meters is not long by automation standards. I'll show it. There we go. 2.3 meters. By automation standards, this is not a long car, and it's not big, so I don't know, maybe it could also be trying to be too kind, like kill me with kindness by giving me a car that just is too small and twitchy to actually handle any amount of power. So yeah, we've got, I think we've got different bodies here. Ah, I like the look of this one actually. I mean, in terms of overall stiffness, probably not as good, but I do like that. There's also a 2-door, which is probably technically better for performance. So, as much as I like this one, I think the 2-door is probably better for performance than the 4-door, just in general, so I'll go with this. It's going to be a weird supercar. It's also front-wheel drive. It's like it's tried to build a Honda Civic with a Volvo engine. That's the best way I can see it. An older Honda Civic as well, which has a Volvo engine because reasons. Of course it would have a Volvo engine. Who doesn't engine swap Volvo engines into Civics for fun? Now, are we going to get something like a carburetor here? It loves carburetors. And indeed we get a carburetor. And I didn't show it. But yeah, it loves carburetors. Connect your encoder. Is something going on? It doesn't show. Oh, there we go. I think it just, like it flickered off for a moment and said connect encoder. I think it might have just dropped. So we have got, we've got carburetor now. What kind of carburetor? That's the first mean thing it's done to me. It's not giving me fuel injection. But in the grand scheme of meanness, it could have been a lot worse. A lot worse. Watch as it now gives me a single barrel eco carb and only one of them. Yeah. Is it gonna make like a really good engine which just has no airflow whatsoever, so can't make power? Oh no. Oh no. Look. Wheel, I think we need to have a word. You've given me the absolute worst carburetor setup you possibly could. How am I supposed to make any power like this? I said it was plotting something. It's gonna like get my hopes up and then it's just gonna give a carburetor that's absolute garbage and won't do anything. Okay, so that's something. 3, 4, 5. And we have 6, I believe, options, as well as spin again. We're going to spin again. Yes, we get spin again. I'm going to just hope I can get some power out of this, honestly. We've got 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got compressed gas. It's going to be a very gassy car. That's LPG. It's actually not that bad for power. But yeah, it's fun to say it's a gassy car. We're going to get 2. I mean, everything but the carburetor is good. The carburetor is trash, but everything else is good. The carburetor, I'll be honest, it's the worst we've got of anything of all the random wheel builds. Like, that's how bad it is. But simultaneously, a lot of the engine is better, so who really knows? And I'm getting severe frame drops. Why is this happening? The frames just don't exist. And I have even lowered the bit rate and everything, but the frames do not want to be staying. Anyway, we've got medium. That's not a bad intake. I'm just waiting for it to deal another death blow to this engine. To say something else that's going to completely throw it a miss. Cast mid, I'll take it. Do we get bypass valves? Are we allowed bypass valves? Or aren't you feeling that kind today? We are not getting bypass valves. We don't deserve bypass valves. Who needs airflow? Airflow is overrated. It's not like you need air to make any level of power. And we have got... I think it's trying to make a good engine which just has no airflow. It's doing the same with the exhaust. Like, there's all these high flow options. No, you're just getting a freeway which doesn't have great airflow, to be honest. At least, the one thing I can say is not put it on leaded fuel, which is terrible for the environment. So, as much as a small win it is, we have got a win in that regard. And we've got reverse flow. It's probably going to make no noise as well. It's probably going to have loads of mufflers and make absolutely no noise. This car is kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't. I still, despite everything, I still think it's not going to be a terrible engine. See, it does love choosing spin again. I don't know if it's just trolling me or what. Okay, we've got baffled. There's a lot of muffling on this engine, so maybe it won't make any noise. Who knows? Look, I'm watching it. I'm watching it to give me front drum brakes. Okay, that's good. 175 horse, and we will get more out of it when tuned properly. That's not bad. I mean, I would get rid of a wheel, but I think that shows the peak power. It's making like 280 torques as well. We've got a race header as well, like race engine materials too, which is a bit odd, but I won't complain. Okay, so I also have loads of Guy coin. I'm not sure it shows up. I've got like over 7,000 Guy coin because that was happening when it was taking ages to choose the body type. I'm going to see how much Guy coin I've got, and as it turns out, I'm pretty rich. Okay, so that's all the numbers. We are getting a sequential. Not bad. Not bad at all. I think that's like a rally car transmission. Is it building some kind of weird rally car? At this point, that's all I can get from it. Some kind of really strange rally car it's building. Hasn't got all-wheel drive. I guess you're not racing it on dirt. A road rally car? I don't know. Okay, 4 gears isn't great. It could be a lot worse. We could have got a 2-speed transmission. 4 gears isn't very good, but it's a number of gears. Could have been extremely cruel. And we've got 7. And how Darken goes in the slots again. Got an electric differential. I think despite everything, this vehicle is badly messed up, but yeah. Acquired 10 by kicking the machine, because that's totally it. The machines aren't just rigged so you never win, and that's the only way you can actually win. Yee. Well, money is money, I guess. And we have... Okay, I'll take it. Cross-ply is a little odd. Like, they're not modern tyres. But at the same time, we have got race tyres. So the thing is going to grip at least. Now, what else have we got to choose from? 6? Okay, we've got... That's a bit odd. Wet race tyres, but they should still be a better tyre, honestly, than the lot it's been giving me recently. And immediately gamble the 10 guy coin. I mean, honestly, it's saying like I've got over 7,300 on last time I checked, and like it's giving you 10 from the slot machines. That somehow doesn't seem very kind of it. How high can we get these tyres for it? I mean, I don't know how much power it's going to make. That's the thing. So we might need really wide tyres, or we might need something that's not really wide. Now, watch as it probably gives me steel wheels, which actually wouldn't look too out of place on this, surprisingly enough. Nope, we get spin again. I wonder why. I feel like it's just trying to make me spin the wheel far too many times. And we get alloys, okay. Why am I getting like early 2000s Honda Civic vibes, but just with a slightly strange tyre and engine setup for this type of vehicle? I can't even complain though, because it could have been a million times crueler than it actually is. I think in reality this thing's going to be extremely quick. At least as far as the wheel cars go, I say, because in general, yes, many cars will beat them. I did build the world's fastest watermelon last time, and the world's fastest watermelon was... Oh. You know what? Didn't I predict this? It's going to give me drum brakes on the front. Now, as I say, it could have been a lot crueler. It at least gave me the slightly better type of drum brakes, not the absolute worst brakes you can get in the game. So that's something. Now, we have got the rear brakes, which are solid discs. I mean, look, I'll take it. The brakes are less unbalanced than they perhaps could be. But the drum brakes aren't going to work too well with these wheels. They're just not going to get that massive. And you want big brakes. I feel like at this point, I would say that they're only 195s because it's a small body and they're tiny in and of themselves. Now, we do have to choose the number of pistons. Another place it can mess me up quite badly. Is it going to give me like 6 piston rear brakes and then just drum brakes on the front? Ah, no, not frame drops. Settings. I don't know why it's dropping so many frames. I thought everything was working. You have betrayed me, internet. Oh, if only I could eat these frame drops. Please stabilise. I think it's stabilised now. I think it's stopped dropping frames so badly. It's not great though what it's doing. Oh dear. And it's dropping more frames. Why I'm getting so many drop frames, I don't know. And the sport game's on, which I'm not watching. Or New Year's stuff, I don't know. Normal people celebrate New Year, who knew? I know, it's bad. Like, I wish I could sort these frame rates, but it's just some days it decides to blow up. I've lowered the bitrate and everything. It seems to be stabilising, at least for now. We've got a sport under tray, at least. So, we need, yeah, we'll set up this later with the aero. We won't set that up right now. But the wheel will decide. So I'm thinking, do we want to... I'll give it the choice of 2, 4, or... I call it sport ball. So we're going to have 2, 4, or 5 seats. Makes sense for this kind of body. So let's see how many seats we get. I mean, Sport Ball does take up bandwidth quite often, so... We've got 2 seats. It did this before as well. It gave me like a sedan body and then it gave me 2 seats, which kind of invalidates the point of it having this extra body part on the back, which is designed for seats. So that's something. I mean, at least the 2-door makes it completely, makes it a little less bad than otherwise. I believe there was actually once a Fiat and it had 2 seats because they were trying to make it lighter and more focused. But it was actually just a normal hatchback and it had 2 seats, which I always found a bit odd. So, are we going to get a spin again? No, we're getting a basic interior. I won't complain about that, it's lightweight. So I'm going to say... I could give it all these options, but I don't imagine this having anything older than an 8-track, so I'm going to give it that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 options for what kind of entertainment we will have. Watch as it makes me have a super high-end entertainment means. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got sat-nav. Okay. Satellite navigation in a Honda Civic with cross-ply tyres. This, as I say, this is making too much sense for a random wheel build. Like, it shouldn't make any sense. It should just be trying to mess me up at every chance. I mean, hey, it's got luxury satellite navigation for some reason. So, that's unrealistically nice for an old Honda Civic. 7 options, so... The beaten up Viglin keyboard doing its job of entering all of the numbers in the world. It probably wants me to stop, but I will never stop. We've got good steering. Wait, is it already New Year? Happy New Year, I guess. It's only 5:44 here. Time zones, I don't know. I'm gonna check and it's gonna be like the 3rd or something. No, it still says Wednesday 31st here. So we have got... Please... I shouldn't say anything, honestly. It didn't give me a 1. Okay, we've got 3. The reason I was concerned here... if it doesn't give you anti-lock brakes, the thing just doesn't slow at all very well. It like slows and it just goes in a straight line instead of actually going around the corner. Not really what you want. As I say, I think I'll go no earlier than the 70s because I just can't imagine this body having any less safety than the 70s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, let's see how safe this thing is. I get the feeling it's not going to be very safe. Okay. So of the options, that would be 2010s. And then we've got to set the 3rd option maybe, and that should do it. You know what? I'll take it. Yeah. Did think it's New Year's Eve. I was just like, am I completely missing the times or anything? Battle Royale. Oh yes, I remember the old days where it didn't even let you into the Battle Royale you started. Such fairness, I'm sure. So, here is our Civic. Well, I call it a Honda Civic. It isn't really a Honda Civic, but I call it that. Now, is Sakura going to cheat? I see it getting a med pack at the moment. Sakura's getting 2 med packs. Sure, that's totally not cheating. I'm sure of that. So, imagine if Sakura gets a 3rd med pack. Like, that would just be insane. Oh, no. Wait. Wait, is my pair going to win? Is my pair going to go and swoop up all the med packs and then win? No, it isn't. There's a command I have to use. There's a command I have to use to make sure I win. So we've got 4. It's literally Orella and Sakura having a fight, but Orella is a pair, so That's one thing that's happening. Real, why do you like selecting spin again? I think you like that option a little too much. Twin tube. Oh wait, did I select anything here? I don't know. Did I select? I don't think I selected springs. I think I just went to dampers. I'm gonna have to check on the YouTubes because I'm not good at remembering this stuff, so. Cheater. Ah, yes. No, that's Sakura. That wasn't me. Sakura must have used a cheat command. So. I don't think I did. Just double check. Oh. It doesn't seem to be working. Please return to me, stream. There we go. I think it's returned. I need to check if I actually did choose a springs though. Okay. Time to make up for my past mistakes somewhat by watching myself and making more dropped frames. You know what though? I don't think I did select the spring type. I just have to watch through what I'm doing. But it's causing drop frames just trying to watch this back. Yeah, I mean, from what I can see, I didn't choose a spring type. That was kind of complicated, but I didn't actually choose a spring type from what I can tell. So we've got 6 options here. I selected the dampers, and then I just completely forgot about the springs. Okay, we've got Citroen suspension. That hasn't changed the dampers anyway. I think they're twin tube regardless, so it works out. Anyway, we've got hydraulic Citroen suspension. I am very happy about that. If only it selected a wagon, I could literally just build a mini C5. And that would kind of be funny, especially if it beat everyone else. Ah, I'm spinning it by accident. We're getting spin again anyway, by the looks of it. It loves the spin again option. I gave it one new option and it's really experimenting around with it about as much as a wheel can experiment around with it. And we've got off-road sway bars, which I don't think will affect anything near as much as it sounds like. I think it's maybe not ideal for road usage, but I think I can make them work. Yeah, definitely not. Does that mean Sakura is a cheese? Or is she just lying again? I guess we'll never know. I can actually really lower this out. I just want to see. I probably won't keep it this low. You know what? That doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. We do need alloy wheels, though. So... I was like, those emojis weren't showing. I was like, wait, did Elena Cheese Goddess just post something, nothing somehow? Like, post nothing somehow? I'm not putting words together well. Oh, okay. I think it can go wider with the tyres. I think it's just the current body wasn't allowing it because the fenders weren't out enough. A choice of double wishbone suspension. I think I can make this work, so maybe go with them a little larger. Wait, these are cross-ply tyres, but they actually go quite large without losing width. That is actually surprisingly good. I can go with big wheels if I want to. I somehow don't think they'll need to be beyond 15s, but I have the option should I need to. I think this is going to look pretty nice. I don't even hate the cross plies too much, because I don't think it's going to make too much difference. So we have got our colours that we have randomly been assigned. I'm going to just choose some alloys. Fairly nice alloys, I think. Not those ones. They're like really 90s alloys. I think if I go with the correct wheels, I can make them bigger and they will still work visually. Somewhat, at least. Because bigger wheels are good for fitting bigger brakes and all the rest of that. And bigger brakes mean the thing's actually going to slow. So what have we got with the colours that we can do? We've got that yellow. That's one of them, or at least appears yellow. Unless my monitor settings being for eye comfort are really negatively affecting it. That's also somewhat of an option. Okay, it looks like we have trim. Yes, that's good. So we can go, oh, that's pink. You know, I love pink. Looks like we're going with pink as the main colour then. Pink and yellow, it's an odd combo. There we go. I don't hate this actually. It looks a little tacky, to be honest. That tacky is the best way. Well, you know, I think it's like those tuner car magazines in the early 2000s. It actually makes me think of one of them, which I think is kind of interesting. It makes this car, overall, especially the colour scheme, it makes me think of one of those. I think if I could go with the wheels, perhaps, and add, like, a... Not make the whole thing yellow, but just add a little bit of a lip there. That might look decent. I don't know. Don't know if I like that. But it does look suitably crazy. Overall, though, we've got a good setup here. Racing slicks, but for the rain, so this shouldn't actually be too bad on the road as far as actual full race tyres go. Okay, so we're going to need power. We're also going to need potentially downforce. So I'll bring the wheel up. We'll see, is it going to select front, rear, or all? No, not front. I'm going to go with, what's it called? Rear, all, or none. Because it just messes up the car too much if I give it front only downforce. I just can't bring myself to really leave it at that. It'll choose spin again. Yeah. See, I can just tell. It loves the spin again option. And so that's what we got. It... Dear. Look, you can't make this up. Watch as it chooses spin again for a third time. Oh no, we're getting rear downforce. That's okay. That's not too bad. I mean, maybe it'll make front downforce because we've got a sport under tray anyway. Like, I don't know. I think we want to go crazy, honestly. We've got the rear air option. So why not really lean into the whole early 2000s tuner aspect, which is like, let's give it a Lamborghini Countach ring. That's what it's from, but I feel like it could work. Give it the craziest Countach ring we have, which I think is this one. Because it is totally a Lamborghini. I say that, Lamborghini won't to sue me if I mention their name, I feel. That's how it always is. But I'm just a small YouTuber. You wouldn't sue me. People need me to build dumb-looking cars. Yeah, it loves the... Like, you see here, I've got spin again, and then I've got the options. It keeps selecting spin again far too much. I also fixed the PNG avatar yesterday. It's probably not noticeable, but it doesn't flicker anymore. I did a thing. So I also fixed the line art a bit because it was kind of transparent, so it's now corrected. This is, like, look at those lumps. That is some engine curve there, with all those lumps on the power delivery. It actually does go quite fast. And that's even without it being totally finished. Sue me for 7 cheeses. I don't have that. I only have 5 cheeses in my collection, unfortunately. That means I cannot be sued. Totally legal. Totally legal terms, I'm sure. It doesn't fit massive tyres, but I still think this thing's going to handle. I mean, I've built cars before. This is probably actually, it sounds insane, but this is probably one of the best cars I've built. Like, looking at it, you would think this is just a joke of a car. It is not. Like, this is probably going to outperform most of them. It may not beat the world's fastest watermelon around the track. Depends on how much power it makes, ultimately, I believe. So, yeah, we've got 2 seats. How heavy is this thing? We've got, oh, under 1,200 kilos. It will likely gain a bit of weight through the process, but I don't think that's going to be that heavy. That's pretty crucial, pretty crucial around a track. And that's even more interesting. This isn't made of fiberglass or carbon fiber. It's just made of heavy steel. So, for a steel car to be this light, it's actually quite impressive. And... I'm clicking on things. A lot of frames are being dropped. It won't be in the replay, at least. If that even recorded properly. So we have got brakes. The brakes can be made even more massive. Look at those drum brakes. Nothing screams high-end like just 2 massive discs of metal. And you can't even see that. Again, nothing screams high-end like 2 massive discs of metal on the front of a car. Everything's gone blue on the YouTube window. I fixed it. So, what do we do? Engine. Okay. I think this engine has some potential. I can make it a little smaller if I have to like 2.5 litres. As long as it's over 2 litres, it's pretty good. But actually, torque is probably the biggest issue, but I think this is going to go quite well if I tune it well. It looks like something that really is going to win the numbers. I've not heard of Whitelock. Should be interesting, anyway, if I ever see it. Not heard of that character before, though. Don't know if it's a new one. I keep messing this up. Okay, so carburetors. You can see the carburetors on like 115%. I know, it is actually surprisingly high end. The only thing is the carburetors are trash, so it may well just make like 250 horsepower because it can't get the airflow. So where have we got the carbs? So if I lower that, what does that do? Not a whole lot of good. It's now 261% of whatever. I can't help but think that number's a bit too big. Unrestricted carburetor flow used. I'm using more... I don't know. I have bad memory. I probably heard of him like a while ago. I don't know. I'm sure there's some of my characters I don't remember even. Is this Wii music? I thought it was Fuse Your Racing. Nintendo will sue me if I use any of their music. I don't want to be sued. Being sued is not fun. I feel like Nintendo will sue you if you look at them funny these days. Nintendo will sue you if you give them a dirty look. If you accidentally pick up the wrong Mario game, they'll sue you for it. 2 horses. I've probably said before, but horsepower is actually measured in a very strange way. It's like a horse walking around in a circle is 1 horsepower. Very... Yeah, when I've got like almost 16,000 drop frames, something is wrong. I think I know that. I was in the writing. I thought it was actually an image some time ago. I do remember that in the writing. And it's disconnected. Come on. Like, it seems just totally disconnect out of nowhere. And then I'm getting frame drops horrendously. Like, sometimes, some days are like this, at least in this particular video's case. I feel it's not going to destroy it completely. This suit is very fun. There's a command I can use. Wait. It doesn't really do anything, but, I can't type. Imagine if this actually has a function, though. That'd be kind of funny. I'm using the commands! Oh, I didn't use the at. It's okay. You evaded getting sued today. If I remembered that at sign, the whole chat would have been sued by now. Yeah, like, imagine if that actually became a command, though, and you could, like, just take half of someone's money or whatever. I mean, you can put people in the slot machine, so that's something, I guess. So I think I'll just have to try and get this tuned, despite the carburetor. I was going to say, this is going to be quick, but I don't know. All I can try and do is just ramp up things like the supercharger and see if I can actually push more power through the engine forcibly. Maybe if I go and change the springs and the... Come on, I want you to go to 100. Oh, it won't go to 100. I feel like the carburetor's actually just doing this engine in. It could still be quick, but... Yeah, lucky, yes. I mean, hey, if it's America, you can get sued for anything. So that's a thing. The land of freedom where anyone can be sued for anything. Okay, springs and lifters. I'm getting somewhere. This is making it a little better for power. I want at least 200, then at least I can say it's as good as the Mystery Party Wagon, but lighter. I mean, I'm sure there's power here, but it's like... How am I going to do it? Also, I can remove a wheel. A wheel is not something I want to be up now. So we have got... almost 190. I can also try the... VVL, perhaps. But VVL, it seems to, like, match the power to an extent, though. I'm having to go about this in a very weird way, but it is seeming to make some power. At least at the lower RPMs. The craziest thing is, this isn't the worst engine I've built. Like, that's what's absolutely insane. Despite all of its issues with the airflow, it's far from the worst I've had to build for these randomised vehicles. It is making almost 30 miles per gallon, which is a massive revelation from that one that was doing like 6.7 for the same power. And probably even worse since I retweaked it. So, we have got to adjust the compression, I think. It's making a lot of torque, so it's got a lot of grunt out of the corners, but it's just not got so much outright power on the straightaways. On the long straightaways. I would say give it more supercharger, but it's not actually helping. Maybe if I change the gear ratio. That is actually helping, yes. A better gear ratio. I do feel like I'm working around a terrible carburetor though, and that is the limiting factor. just terrible airflow of the carburetor. Like, it's holding back what would otherwise have been an incredibly amazing car to drive. It's going to really lean on its cornering ability, because if not cornering ability, what else is going to do? 6.9 miles per gallon. I mean, this is doing 29.2. So yeah, you can imagine how much higher that is for actual fuel efficiency. So if I lower the carburetor, is it too large and then too much air in? No, it was a crazy thought. Now, fuel map. Can I change the fuel map? Okay, fuel map's getting a little more power, I think. At least at a different setting. We're getting 193. I want to do 200, though. Then if it does 200, I can at least say it's not the worst engine I have built. Which is something. Oh, wait. The lower fuel map is making more power quite significantly, actually. We're bringing that up quite nicely. 195. We are making power. Not a whole lot, but we are making power. I mean, I would have never have guessed that this would be how you make power. But the engine is so messed up. I mean, we've got 304 for the max torque, so I may have to change the proportions a little. Depends on how the torque ends up being. At this point, yeah, more so than ever, I'm just building a Honda Civic. The wheel has basically said, go forth and build a Honda. Granted, 90s Hondas were pretty good, so maybe I can lean on that. So, higher timing and lower fuel map. I mean, it's probably going to blow up if I go make the timing too high, but hey, if it works for a time, I'll leave it on 75, because I don't want to make it so high it's just not going to start or anything. Because I think there's probably flaws to making the timing too extreme. Well, I'm going to try the exhaust, because sometimes that can be a way of getting more power out of it. And the manifold here, as it says as well, which I think ties into more the intake and exhaust. This is an interesting engine, as far as the ones I've built. It doesn't like revving out, because it's just not making any air go through the engine. Air make explosion, explosion make power. This is not even getting the air to make the explosion. I just want 200. Is that too much to ask? I just want to beat the other engine, which, to be fair, I think it already is beating the other engine. Making this smaller probably isn't the most hurtful thing I could do to it, though. It depends, I guess, on what the bore and stroke actually end up doing for the airflow. I think, actually, there is a thing I can do. I think higher bore, I would assume, perhaps wrongly so, means more airflow. So I'm going to make the bore as high as I can go before the engine just doesn't fit in the car. And I'm going to run from there. Okay, so then we can lower the stroke a little. That should also raise the torque limitations, so things should be a little more resilient to abuse. Yeah, we are making more power. We can probably do 200 with just these minor tweaks. 199.7. We are almost making 200. Now we are making 200, okay. Things are looking good so far. Let's just hope it's not messing up there. I think we can get this still to be quite fast. I don't think it's going to beat the world's fastest watermelon, because that car just kind of made enough sense and it made a lot of power. Like almost 500. As you can figure, 200 horsepower is not close to 500. But it does make solid torque, so it is moving in a way, in a sense of the word. Okay, so VVL profile, where do we want this to be? I want that to be pretty high, I think. I don't know. Oh, no, we're getting more power by lowering that a little. Yeah, lower VVL profile is helping me now. It is not a high revving engine, though. I feel like it would be delusional to say it's going to make all the power at the top. Granted, there are advantages to this weird engine config. I don't think it needs a carburetor. Not carburetor. I don't think it needs a supercharger. That's doing pretty much nothing now. Granted, for a 3-litre engine, it could be a lot worse. As I have already seen in other cars the wheel has built. Because, I mean, this is a 5-cylinder. The V12, that's like... How many more cylinders? 7 more cylinders and the same displacement, and that was making less power. Smaller supercharger, that's actually... I don't know the exact specifics, but the smaller supercharger is making more power, so I will take that. Can lower the gear ratio a little. Just a little. Then there's the boost limit. Okay, we can get the supercharger tune, perhaps? Like, at this point, I'm just fighting the carburetor to get any kind of, I'm fighting the carburetor to get any kind of, performance out of this engine. As much as I would say I despise the carburetor, without the carburetor, I somehow think it would drive even worse. So I think we want that to be quite low. Not super low, but just low enough that... Low enough that it's not like trying to be really aggressive on the tune in a car that just doesn't like that at all. Am I getting more frame drops? I don't know. It doesn't say on OBS I'm getting frame drops this time round, which is surprising, but... It looks like a pretty small supercharger. There is power just about there. I mean, the carb size, making that smaller is just going to hurt the engine. Like, I don't even have to question it at this point. Maybe a little more fuel map just to go with the re-proportioned engine. Nope, doesn't like that. I mean, I'm making 201. This is not the worst engine that I have built. And I mean, doesn't sound like much of a victory, but it kind of is. So we've got 43 there. It's making a level of power. And I think if nothing else, it's light enough to be good around the corners. And it's on good tyres. So we have got 201.4. Header size being larger. That's good. So we've got the exhaust. I'm desperately trying to push air through the engine, and it's not really pushing air through the engine. Because there's no air going into the engine, so like you can only do so much trying to let air out of the engine. It's just inherently flawed. If it gave me any other carburetor, I feel this would be making 300 horsepower, but in the messed up configuration that I have been handed, it just isn't. And even despite that, it's better than like the 6 carburetor V12, which was about the same size. It's making better horsepower than that. So that's something. So we got 201.6. Is that... rear dampers, front dampers... The engine has unutilized fuel octane, so it wants that to be a little higher. Just to make sure everything is working. Imagine if making the compression higher actually fixed it. I don't think that's ever going to be the case. Wait, we are making a 201.7. 0.8, okay. Clinging on to any semblance of hope that I may be able to find. Cam profile. 201.8. We do actually have the VVL RPM as well, which I've not been touching, and I probably should have. So we've got 202.7, 202.9. Yes, swings and lifters, please. I need your power. I just need 203. I'm sure I can get that, yes. The thing is uncomfortable. I mean, it's pretty clear to me now that this engine is uncomfortable. But the uncomfortable engine is making power in the most uncomfortable way. It's like, please, I just want to be a normal Civic engine. Granted, I have got 30 miles per gallon. At least this engine isn't the worst. It's not making any power. But it's making, it's not making any power, but it's a very efficient engine in the grand scheme of things for the power it's making. So we have 4,700. I think we're getting done with this engine for now. At least, it's not ideal, but we are getting a thing out of it. Fuel map, okay, we can lower that. The thing is somehow going. Manifold size. Nope, don't want that to be larger. I feel like it's about maxed out, honestly. As far as I can realistically push this engine. It's not a perfect power curve, but it's making power. In some capacity. I should just be happy I broke 200, to be honest. Now I can just stop the music and see how it sounds. Should be quite a good sounding engine. Pretty quiet, actually. It's not a loud engine. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's even quieter when I export it into BeamNG. I just imagine that's like... The wheel has kind of built a decent engine, but not for power. Like, it does good miles per gallon. And I mean, it's on LPG, so it's not on, like, leaded fuel or anything. Decent miles per gallon. Okay power. Yeah. I mean, as far as engines go, I think this sounds okay. But there's so much more on this that needs fixing. For now, though, it's not the worst engine I've built. It makes engine noises. It's efficient. It beats the V12. And that V12 was probably the worst engine I've built. But it beats that, so it can't take the worst engine ever crown, at least. That is a big exhaust. I'm not sure the exhaust should be scraping on the ground like that, or almost scraping on the ground. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be okay. I feel like if I'm going with this, I feel I need some really ridiculous exhaust system. They're going to mostly be fakes, but still. It just gives me that vibe with the colours it's chosen. And apparently won't rotate where it is. There we go. Don't think I need to resize these particularly. I just think I need to have these exhausts stacked up. We're getting more frame drops. Surprisingly, it's just about holding. It's not liking it, though. So we can go... So first we have to mirror this. There we go. I could go with, like, what's it, 6 exhausts here. This was actually once a trend, though. Getting a car like a Civic and just putting crazy stuff all over it. In the 2000s, that was trendy. I'm not sure I even like that, but... we've got to make this car look as cool as we can. And trendy as we can. I think we need those, they call them Altezza taillights because they came on a Toyota. But it's like these, yes. I think they're hideous, but as I say, for the time, they were the fashion. They were what people wanted in these show cars. So I feel like I might as well just try and play into this kind of theme. Because the car can carry it actually quite well. It looks sad there. These taillights just look sad. They look a bit menacing if I tilt them more. Can probably move them in a little. But as I say, this was like a trend for show cars back in the 2000s, early 2000s. Got those ugly taillights that every show car had to have in the time. Yeah, it looks like a rejected Hot Wheels toy. I'll have to actually try and find a picture because it was genuinely a trend back then. Because it won't... I imagine people born after the 2000s particularly won't even know what was going on there. Prepare for frame drops. I'm loading an image. Okay. I'd prefer it if you actually did something here. It should be loading the image at some way. It's very slowly. Kind of like them, actually, but I think the ones have got a good. I feel like I could, There we go, so this should do. I hope that's showing. So we have things like that. I don't know if it's going to load properly. But yeah, we have those crazy Civics and stuff. It's loading a YouTube video. But yeah, just crazy Civics with loads of bodywork and whatever. And it weren't just Civics, but that's just the example I'm running with. I'm thinking, I like chrome, but I'm not sure I should go with that. Actually, what I think would be very on-brand is if we make it this yellow colour. That way we have the accent colour on the edge of the lights to give them some separation, but it's not as obvious that it's, you know, not blending in or whatever. There we go. So bring those to the front. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't like this purple colour, I do, but certainly the purple and the yellow, they give this specific vibe to me. Can probably make that smaller. I could actually, I would say call it the Hot Wheels, but we have to go with our, like, fake, law-friendly version. Hot Spinners or something. I know, we're gonna call it Toasty Wheels. Like, that's our off-brand Hot Wheels, Toasty Wheels. I actually tend to do this design feature on too many of my cars where it has like this kind of grille and stuff. And then we have the centre a different colour. It can be black or whatever. This I just oddly feel looks good, and it's kind of become a design characteristic on my cars. Not the wheel ones per se, but in this case, it's the kind of car I would build, so it falls into place. If I actually keep the chrome here, it does look wonderfully tacky. I wouldn't normally like keep it chrome, but indeed, yes, toasty wheel. We also need to call it wheel, so it's called the wheel toasty wheels. Totally not a mouthful there. I mean, I can add some other names. What would be funny also is if I put turbo, because it's not actually turbocharged, but there was this trend, I think it was more in the 80s, but there was this trend of like sticking turbo in the name of everything. So I'm going to call it turbo, even though it's not actually a turbocharged engine. Because why not? Anything that makes it sound cool. We're going to make door handles on the back, I think. I think these ones are kind of like matching the, 90s, 2000s aesthetic. Oh, they won't load in. I'll have to return to this. I do have some other stuff to tweak. Mainly the brakes. The brakes are massive, 325mm. I think because this weighs under 1200 kilos, it'll be fine. So what have we got for downforce? That's another thing. Performance. We've got, okay, we've got lift on the front, we've got downforce on the back. Now, we've got active wing and cooling flaps. We do need to bring up the wheel to decide upon these features. So we've got that, yeah, we've got two wheels. We'll go 1 and 2. Let's see. Let's see what our wheel decides. If I can find the right window to spin it, that was, which I could. We've got an active wing. Maybe that'll help us make some extra downforce, because we don't have front aero. We don't have front downforce. We are not allowed it. The wheel did not tell us we were allowed it. But I think we'll be fine. Okay, it's been very kind with the aerodynamic features here. Let's see. I do feel we're going to have at least less lift on the back, though. Now, if we could do that, if the under tray provides any level of downforce, which I don't think it does. Okay, it's going to make lift on the back, regardless of what's going on around it. I can add a little bit of rear downforce. And it's not making stupid amounts of front end lift. So I think this will still handle extremely well. Spin again. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't choose that on any of those times, because it loves spinning again. Who knows why? The wheel just loves spinning again. Wait, is this braking? Wow. 32.2, that is incredibly good braking. Far better than I would have ever considered it to be. 33.7, okay. I feel like I need to go with extra force. So let's go with improved pad type. So we've got 29.8. There's always just the easy hack of like ramping up the front force, and if it works, it works. 29.8 though, so I don't think we're really gaining any brake force there right now. Yeah. Anyway, for perspective, a car that's around about 40 for brakes, for 40 meters for brakes, that is what I'd consider pretty good for a wheel build. And this is doing it in like 3/4 of that distance. It's not bad at all. It's actually really good. Really good, I guess you could say. It is really amazing. We can lower the wear force though, because we don't need that much. It makes the braking force with less. So we can just keep that going. 64 is what we need there. Not quite 67 on the rear brake force, but it gets close. I mean, I could do that, but I don't think it would really be any practical advantage to it. So 29.8, we can try making these a little smaller. No, it loses brake force. So we need massive drum brakes on the front and tiny discs on the back. But the brakes actually do a good job. They do slow the thing. And we do have to do the gears. We've been given 4 gears, which I don't like, I'll be quite honest, but the thing moves. It actually goes quite quick in a straight line for just 200 horsepower. That's not bad at all. So if we can just move that back, 177. I mean, I could do that, like, just to keep the lower gears super tight. I'm not losing top end per se. 5.4. It does go, honestly. This does move, which I wasn't quite expecting for just something with 4 gears. I guess being light helps. You need more gears if a car is heavy just because you need to help fight the weight. There's not a huge amount of weight to fight on this, which is bound to help the thing move off the line. It does look like we've got... I just realised something crazy. This music is actually from the early 2000s. It's from a PlayStation 2 game, so it's actually period accurate for this. It's actually crazy just how it lines up that well. I mean, maybe I influenced the wheel with the music, I don't know. There was actually a car like this that someone made as a mod a while ago, based on one of the in-game cars on BeamNG, and it was like, it was kind of a joke because they gave it millions of speakers in the back and stuff, but it actually cornered really well just because it had wide tyres and it gripped incredibly well. So it was better than you would ever like expect that kind of vehicle to be for performance, which I found interesting. I mean, I guess it's ultimately torque as well. If you have the torque to spin up the wheels, you can run wider tyres. I don't think this will actually need wide tyres, though. Granted, I don't know, do they improve? I don't think they do improve braking particularly. It's just, I feel like I would probably be better off making these tyres small. They are good tyres in general, so cross-plies, but they are very good cross-plies. So we can probably make them smaller and have this thing still actually handle well. 5.1. It's not making enough power to need crazy wide tyres on this compound. I think 235 I'm happy with. 235 isn't ultra wide, but it's enough to give the car traction. I do want this thing to grip around corners. We can widen the track width. I think we can do it on the front a bit. The cross-plies do just look a bit off, honestly, with how the rest of the car looks very, well, compared to some things at least, very modern, but when you have these tyres that look like they're from the 1970s, and it just doesn't quite look correct. But it's quick. 29.9. Could probably do a mass bomb. I think that will work. Because moderator powers, I think that will actually work. Okay, so it doesn't want to break any more than this. Which is fine, I guess. I could try making them different size. Oh, yes, okay. So it's the rear brakes are a limiting factor. Make them a little larger and we can get our braking performance back. It is now even closer to 67. Imagine if, like, I get finished and that brake performance ends up at that. And that wing is, like, torn to pieces. Might have to move it a little. Okay, so we've got... I think I might have to make the wing a little smaller, or... Actually, I could go with a Subaru wing. I think the Subaru wing would work. And it looks, not quite as mad, but it's not going to tear itself to pieces or anything. I can make that... Now, I think it's when you make the wings larger that they actually tear to pieces, so... Keeping that stock could maybe make it a little wider, no? There is a bit of, like... The wing just tearing itself to pieces is not something I like. Does, yeah, curving that works quite well. Like, it's not gonna fit perfectly, but... I'll take what I can get here. If it works and it doesn't look absolutely horrifically like it's tearing itself to pieces. Almost got that. There we go. I'll take that. That works. Can try changing the roof line. Try changing the roof line here. I could drag that back actually a little. It kind of reminds me actually also of the Subaru Impreza from the 90s. The 22B, because that was a two-door version. I can maybe move that a little more vertically because I feel having that super raked, as in like super slope, doesn't actually fit the car design. Maybe raise that up a little. If we could, yeah, we can do that. That makes it a little more curved out and look a little better. Can't seem to drag it down though. I feel like the ring isn't insane enough. Okay. See you, Elena. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully this car doesn't, hopefully it doesn't toast itself. Because it is, after all, called the toast, what's it called? Toasty wheels. So hopefully it doesn't toast itself to pieces. Do have to fix the thing. It's a body morph, so there we go. That should work. Oh, okay, I see what's going on now. It's ended up somehow flipping them the other way. Slightly tilt them. It kind of works again. We can move that. There we are. So I think if we go indicators, I feel like we should have some ugly LED indicators because reasons. I do believe we have the indicators that are LEDs. Somewhere. Traffic light indicators. They kind of work, but not quite. We have to, I think we have to go with something. Like, what would fit? I guess from a standard perspective, these, but I have to kind of make them look all trendy and LED'd and stuff. They're actually quite big. I don't think they need to be this large. Everything has to be kind of curvy because 90s. There we go. Got to go with that ugly, ugly green colour. I don't know, it's kind of yellow. Kind of yellow-green, for lack of a better term. So, there we go. Feel like they're not orange enough. I think they'll do. They don't actually look as bad as I would have expected. We will have to add a bonnet to something. Ooh, what's this? This looks like it's crazy. Oh, yes. That is very, I would say spec, very, stylized to what we're trying to do. Lots of plastic there. Is it unnecessary? Definitely. But does it look cool to the people of the time? I'd say so. The bonnet, I was going to say it's not going to open this way. Well, it probably opens forwards. They probably made it open like a Lamborghini and spent far too much money on it, but that's just how these things roll. So do we want, I think there is, Do you want matte plastic? Like, it just doesn't go anywhere. Now, I think we can add enough of a vent for it to actually be kind of functional. All fixtures? I don't know. We could just have, like, it completely empty, so it goes into the engine. Like, this is going to be faster than it looks, I can say that much. But this is just the vibe it's getting me. Got the ugly Altezza tail lights, as we have to have. I think these are like sealed beam. I wonder how I could get them working. Probably not. I feel like it would have composite headlights of some description. There might actually be a super ones. Now, I don't think these are super ones, but they do look correct. They look like correct for this type of vehicle. There we go. Maybe move them in a little. I think this is a little more of an 80s body, but it can work in the context of a 90s car. Which has then been ruined in the 2000s. I say ruined. Someone's going to get insulted by that, but... yeah, it's like these things haven't aged as well as they could have. Yet, the wheel did give me a perfect kind of prompt to build this type of thing. So if we go with a grill, I do think I know something that I can do to kind of tie it together. Ultimately, I'm just going to need something like this, a fairly standard grill. And then I can work on it by like adding and removing stuff. I think it will look pretty good when I'm done. At least as far as this kind of vehicle can look good, I think it's going to look good. I mean, it's not entirely out of the question, though, that they changed, like, the whole front end and the headlights and everything. Because these cars were changed a lot. Like, I think the whole Need for Speed thing was, largely, like, cars like this. Because that's what, was trending, I guess. So, we can move these to the front. This is where I'll get what I want from it. And I press the wrong key. So we have, move them like all the way forwards. I can probably do that. No, probably don't need to, but to be honest, I could. Yeah, let's do that, and then we can go with a transparent nature there. We can also go with the kind of green, yellow, whatever you call it. There we are. So it's something. I mean, can I change the edge here? I kind of can, but it goes way back, and yeah, it's not just that simple. Oh, I've seen an idea though. We have these pieces. These can definitely be recoloured. Don't call it tacky. It might get insulted. But anyway. Bumper bars. I don't know if bumper bars are actually technically what we want, but I can give it a try. Like, maybe if I make that smaller. No, I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's how it's supposed to look. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, that seals them together. Oh, not seals them. That ties them together quite well, I feel. We can paint that the same colour there. I might... No, I'll probably go back in there later and try and actually have something that fixes it. The grill. There we go. I feel like, will this work? I don't know. I could just, could actually make this a lot smaller and then just duplicate it on either side by mirroring it, and that should hopefully work quite well. Perhaps if I go and do this, and then I also have one in the middle, because it does fade behind the lights, so I think I can get this working. We can go change that to that same colour maybe, or no, actually, better idea, change it to that purpley colour maybe. I don't know, I could actually just make it chrome. Because it's hard to find some kind of balance that would actually happen. That would actually, like, happen on a car like this in the real world. Come on. If I can get this to snap together, there we go. So that works. It's actually really shiny. I'm not so sure I like it, but then I'm not so sure I like a lot about this car. It really just has to match the overall vibe. Become a crazy being that maybe shouldn't have been made. I could add more scoops, but I honestly don't think they're necessary. I've added that big, massive one on the front and it kind of works. I think we need fog lights. I do think they need to fit somehow. But we're going to need a grille of some kind that fits the front. Basically takes up the entire front end. I think I've used that before. I don't want to just reuse the same fixtures. I mean, we have these. I think I could definitely see one of these working. I just hope it doesn't add front downforce, because I don't think they are front downforce parts. I just don't want to mess with it. Okay, they don't. They don't, that's good. So if we go back to the whole ordeal. There we go. It doesn't seem to fill the space properly. That fills it a little better. Oh, we've got fog lights. Okay. I messed that up because I didn't stretch it out properly. But we do have a version with fog lights, which I feel is the most natural one to go with here. That don't look too bad to me. So we've got to make that the same colour as this. I can also do the same thing here. I don't think I have to go crazy about it. Like, I think just a bit of mesh there is probably fine. But then there is the whole thing, do we want that? I think it's actually better, yeah. I think the overall grill stuff is better. So there's a honeycomb type thing here. If I can mirror this, I should have enough space to like duplicate all this stuff. I mean, I don't know if this will look good at all. Oh dear, what am I doing? So, I think I might have held the wrong key. No, I don't know. It seems almost like I'm holding the wrong key, but, that's it. I was clicked on the wrong item. I needed to go on the selector menu and select the actual honeycomb type stuff. I don't know if the purple works there, but then I would have my questions about basically the entire aesthetic I'm going with. As long as it, like, looks like it fits, I guess you could say. And then also, I feel like this isn't actually lined up to the middle kind of thing. Yeah, like it just doesn't quite seem to line up. It's the same on both sides, so I can do that. I mean, it's not perfect. I think it's close enough no one's really going to ask questions. Could go with a sunroof. Because at this point, why not go with a sunroof and add a bit of trim? I mean, there's so much I could do with the interior. Now, I have landed on mirrors. I don't need indicators, but I can just go with something fairly generic for like a 90s era car. I can move them onto the doors themselves. Maybe tilt them? I don't know. I guess it doesn't want them to be tilted if it's on 2D mode. Might have to change that. Seems to be moving by itself. There's definitely a sizing thing. Like, these are tiny, and I know this is a small car, but the mirrors don't have to be, like, absolutely minuscule that you can't even use them. They like sliding forwards, though, which is odd. I think if we move them forward a little... I would say, do these need changing colour? I don't think that works. I think we need to just keep them body coloured. Because it draws too much attention to the mirrors, which isn't something I really want. The chrome, I could go with some on the wheels. I think I'll keep the wheel lip. But I think I'll make these more chrome. So... global and defaults. Should have chrome somewhere. Radially polished metal. There it is, chrome. I found the chrome. Took a bit of time, but I found it. The wheel lip. I could go purple, but I think the yellow works here. Actually, to be quite honest, I think the purple just works a little better and it still stays on theme. I feel like this works. The chrome is out of place, but then what isn't going to be out of place on this whole thing? Now, we're going to need some door handles. Hopefully the door handles will function. I think, I don't know, they look like they're supposed to have keyholes. But I can't see keyholes. Oh, it's on 3D, that's why. I was just thinking that looked a little off. So, get that down on there. I mean, I can add that, sure, we want dual-tone door handles. My mind just says some of this stuff isn't going to work, and I have to say it just doesn't work, but not everything made sense back then. So we can go change that to 0, so it's like aligned decently well. The creations of the wheel are wide and varied. The ring, I was thinking of that, so I think if we just change the middle parts here to the yellow. Why does it make me think of McDonald's now? I don't know. I do need the sunroof. So we have the... Have to make this work. Now, if I can get the actual thingy, there it is. Yes, and it seems to have returned. No idea why it's just cutting out like this. There is our sunroof of sorts. I mean, I'm quite happy with this. As I say, it's about 1,200 kilos and it makes just over 200 horsepower. It could be more powerful, but in the grand scheme of things, there's cars that make less sense than this. At least it does have somewhat a lightweight redeeming factor. I mean, I'm quite happy with this. I do need to add the wheel logo I have invented, because without the wheel logo, how would anyone know that the wheel has designed this fabulous piece of engineering? I get the feeling though also they've like destroyed one of those Rovers for it, because there was a Rover made about 200 horsepower in the early 90s. Why do I get the feeling one of those has been messed up for this car when it was like actually a fairly rare performance Rover 200 or whatever back then? I guess one of those things, no one really cared about them for a time until they started realising that those things are actually rare. You're not going to get another one of them being made afterwards. I mean, I do feel like I need to change the yellow, but at the same time, I don't know, like, I think these colours are good. Maybe if I make them even more glowy, because they're not going to exactly cheap out on colour. They spent so much money turning this into a fabulous tuner car. They're not going to cheap out on paints. They're going to use the most exotic paints they can find on a 90s Honda Civic. So there should be another badge somewhere. Yeah, there it is. It ended up there and I couldn't move it. So I think I'm just going to have this on top of the bonnet. Looks like a space that's not being used. The frame drops are not liking me. And the wheel. Okay, so yeah, so that needs to go on this side. That is correct. It's just not in position. There we go. It is the wheel. It is a Toasty Wheels Turbo, and it doesn't have a turbo. It's false marketing. No, you know what? If I'm going to go full out on the turbo, I need to get the text, I think. And just write turbo. Like, it should be easy enough. Can actually have a little turbo badge on the back, though, as well. Because, as I say, it's complete false marketing. This isn't a turbo, but why not run with it? Why not try and make this thing marketed as a turbo? So, suspension. We've got to sort out the suspension. I think I can remove the camber for now. It's got good suspension. It's got double wishbone front and multi-link rear. I honestly think this might be the best overall suspension configuration we've had before. Like, or any car, because we've had what was it? We've had double wishbone on the back and what's it called? Double wishbone on the back and push rod on the front. But I think in terms of overall balance, double wishbone front multi-link rear, especially for a front-wheel driver like this, it's just a really well-balanced, well-rounded setup. I mean, it's got steel bodywork. It's basically, as I say, the steel bodywork and the steel unitary chassis, it's all just 90s stuff. but it's got very good suspension for the era, which is, as I say, kind of a Honda Civic thing. Honda Civics had double wishbone front and rear, which was, for the time, pretty darn good. I do not want to raise this thing up anymore, though, off the ground. Handling, it's saying, is pretty low, but I'm honestly doubtful it's as bad as it's saying. Like, I feel it's probably more like 65 in reality. So we're going... It has got off-road anti-sway bars, but it's got hydraulics. And again, really feeding into this idea, the very fact it's got hydraulic suspension really actually lines up with the whole theming of it. I do have to add the turbo stuff, but the visual editor trim editor just kind of gets broken after a while, and then you have to click off it and then click back on it to get it to actually work. So I might as well use this as a chance to adjust the suspension before going in and making any final tweaks. It is liking having these, like, really stiff anti-roll bars, but I can't complain because the thing is ultimately going to be a bit more of a race car. I could make it a little taller off the ground, but I just don't want to. For better or for worse, it looks amazing, and it's definitely very on brand for what this car is. 6,000. Why does it want the rear sway bar to be just so stiff, though? Like, that doesn't seem quite right. It could, as I say, it could be that they are off-road anti-sway bars and that they just need tweaking, completely different to your typical road-going anti-sway bars. Like, maybe they are just generally softer because they're designed for off-road. It says the rear dampers are hard. If I can change that... Oh, well, it actually likes having softer rear dampers. Well, I can take that. For drivability, at least. And I want this thing to be very drivable. The rear dampers, it's saying, are still hard. Are they now? No, they are really wanting soft dampers here. 60.7. Okay, so that has fixed the rear dampers being hard. Yeah, I feel like it does want them to be kind of soft. And I'm fine to accommodate that much, but it makes the rear dampers hard again, and it really does. It seems to have an idea, though, to make this car just generally softer sprung, but with really stiff anti-roll bars. And I mean, if that works, then if that works, I cannot complain particularly. It does mean it tackles curbs. Like, I do believe for drivability it generally makes cars a little softer, but round a track you do notice that softness, and not in a bad way. It means that when you go at full attack onto a curb, the thing's just going to wobble a little, but it will take the impact. It's not going to throw you off the course. That is very important. So maybe it's not the absolute best suspension setup I could get by just improving the drivability, but the drivability seems to generally do a decent job of getting me like an initial setup, which can be improved later. So I can't really criticise that. Now we have got double wishbones on the front, as I say, and what do you call it? Not McPherson strut, multi-link. I should know, my own car has this exact configuration. I should actually remember what exactly it is. But I don't, alas. So we have got front dampers that are hard. I think we can take this as it is. Then we can probably stiffen up the front sway bars. No, we can't. I mean, as I say, I don't know the technical reasons though. Maybe multi-link just gets by with stiffer sway bars because of the nature of the suspension. It's not double wishbone we're talking about, and thankfully we're not talking about leaf springs on the front. We actually got a really nice setup. I mean, for the suspension setup, as I say, this is probably the best I could have hoped for. Because even pushrod front double wishbone weir, which is good, it is still a bit of an odd setup because it's more advanced on the front than it is for weir. It's just not typically what you would expect to have on a car. I mean, I'm going to just trust in this. I'm going to trust in the anti-roll bars being this firm. Like, I wouldn't have thought that would be a good idea. Maybe there is some method to the madness. I mean, I know it'll probably get it to lean a bit more into corners, but I guess if that's giving it grip on that front end. So the rear brake force is apparently very high. We've got 29.9. You see, this is where things are interesting. It has got anti-lock brakes. So if we go 29.9, if we make that larger... Yeah, so there is braking performance, though, to be had from the rear. The other thing I can think, 29.8, if we can make the pad type softer until we are basically finished, 30.7. So I think 29.8 is about as good as I'm going to get with this configuration. But I can make the front, I can make just the general brake force a little lower until, or general brake pad type a little lower until I get that performance. And then it's up to rear brakes to basically align and get what it's needed. So we have 29.8, yes. We just have to keep making this a little smaller until we hit that point. 29.9, we have to just make this correct, really, the size. 29.9. We're going to just keep making this bigger. Imagine if it ends on 67. Like, that would be something. Nope, almost. Can I get 69? If I can get 69 on the rear force to, like, balance out the brakes. Yes! Well, we've got a funny number there. We've got, like, 69% brake force on the back to line the brakes up and get the best brake performance possible. I will take that. Now, the gearbox. It's been a little cruel, but we've got 4 gears when we could have really honestly done with a little more. But no less. No less, we are doing well. So, 61 there. Yeah, I mean, we can do just over 5. 5.1 seconds isn't great, but it's not bad either. It's kind of like neither here nor there, I guess you could say. The fact it's light is definitely helping it, though, because too much weight, the thing just struggles to get off the line with 4 gears. That's why though you can still get things like the Ford Escorts from the 70s or 60s that move on 4 gears, because they have enough gears to move such a light car. This car isn't that light, so there we go. I will just return in a moment to finish this. And I have returned to finish a job. Just got this. I've actually got this image on caught on YouTube, and it's the it's a version of this car which has still got the steel wheels on that he defaulted to. It's changed quite a lot. As I say, I said I didn't like this car. It's crazy, but it's one of the best cars I think the wheel has built just overall. And being steel, it's heavier, yes, because of that. Should be pretty stiff around the corners and stuff though. Like, it's not going to bend or sway as much because the steel body is just typically more of a unit. So we have got... Yeah, we've got this... We're also getting frame drops again, I think. I mean, there's that. There's a spread. I mean, you can go in and fine adjust the gears, but the fact is, this is still going. There was actually something, it's making a bit of downforce, so I think I can, I think I can probably lower that. Because less downforce on the back also likely means less lift on the front. But I can't really give up the downforce, so yeah, the wheel is pretty neutral. There's lift on the front, but it shouldn't be as bad. Do I have to adjust the suspension now? I can probably adjust the anti-roll bars and just leave it at that. Nah, I don't think it really affected anything. Okay, so we've got the aerodynamics. No, we've got the gearing. Maybe it's just since I've got the aero set this way, it won't go under 5.2. I did have this at 5.10 to 60 though at one point. Maybe if I raise this up a little. I think it was at like 50 for the first gear. You do have to, I believe, get the thing going, so... If I can use the strong torque that this has, at least comparative to the power, I can get it going, and that will assist it in just not having such an issue with the gearing. If it can like really use that torque to get itself to about 60 miles per hour. I think I'll try and make this spread as high as I can. I really want this thing to do well on the high end. Okay, so I think I'll leave it at about 36. That looks pretty good. In terms of overall gearing spread, it is still tight on the low end, but I think the thing will have half decent spread for a 4-speed. It's almost like it's an automatic. Imagine that. It is at least sequential, so we're not going to have an automatic deciding what gear to go in and completely messing it up. I think the, what was it, the Lansdale did that once on one of the lower end Lansdales where it was an auto, and I was trying to drive that, it always found itself in the wrong gear. Anyway, we have turbo. I think there's a text tool somewhere, so maybe I'd search for it. There we go. So, this looks decent. I mean, I could add chromed out text and stuff, but chromed out text is also kind of more difficult. It is not actually a turbo. I must reiterate, this is actually a, I don't think this is going to flip okay on the other side if I just use the option, but I can try. Oh no, it did. I think it might be because it's a text tool. As I say, it was worth a try. It's not actually a turbo. It's actually a supercharged engine. But I feel it's in brand, yes, and turbos are like cool, so even if it's not a turbo, we're going to use that to try and get a street clout, do you call it, and make it look more amazing than it actually is. There's also a gap there, probably where the number plate would go, but I can put the turbo there. And we want our little turbo logo as well, so that should be under badge and decal. I can remove that now. Actually, I would say 16 valve. It's technically a 5-cylinder, so how much would that be? 20 valve? I mean, you know, it's got all these valves. I feel I might as well boast about it. I might as well boast about just, say, 20 valve turbo. I mean, I don't have the actual trim of it on the back. But I think that'll just take too much time. I do want the turbo badge, but I think I'm okay just leaving it at that. So it's a 20 valve turbo. I guess that's a turbo name. The trim name is actually Toasty Wheels Turbo. I'm quite happy with that. I mean, the badges do look a little off, but then it's not a turbo. They probably just pulled off the actual badge and stuck turbo there, so the mismatch doesn't look as off as it perhaps could. So, there we go. We are pretty much ready to go. Put this in beam and should be able to drive it. See how quick it is around the automation test track there. I just checked the weight balance as well. 56 front isn't bad. Just over 1,200 kilos. Helped by it being front wheel drive with a less than massive engine. But as I say, the thing is going to drive quite well, I think. I think it's really going to be saved by that low curb rate and the not semi-slicks, the racing wet tyres. Which is, even if cross-ply, they are good tyres for just overall grip. I believe they are actually fair amount higher grade than the road-going cross-ply, so that's something. I will switch over to beam now. So, yeah, that gave me front leaf springs. I've been far more fortunate with this. Like, I'm not even mad about it being a steel body, because it ended up, in the grand scheme of things, just so good. Now, beam, here we are. We are launching. And it will be up in a moment. Where we can just wait for the menus to load. I have remembered something. I need to go to that side of the screen because of where the beam stuff, like, kind of goes. I don't want to block the speedometer again. That was not good. Now, I feel like we need somewhere. Ah, yes. We're going to take it to the test track and see how quick it goes, but there's other things I could do. So, for now, I will go and actually see how quick this thing is. Automation test track. Let's hope it... Oh. I say let's hope it doesn't drop. It's dropping frames. I don't want it to drop frames here, of all places. Anyway, we've got 3 laps. I do believe I know what I'm doing a little more here. Now, it does have ABS. It does have ABS, so... The last car, actually, that it drove surprisingly well. For something without ABS, that was the world's fastest watermelon, and man, that was actually quick. It was only slightly quicker than the off-road rally-type vehicle, but man, it still was quick. Just going to disable the music now, because we don't need that right now. Also, it's using bandwidth and stuff. Hopefully that's sort of frame drops. It's pretty quiet. I can probably raise the volume a little because... just to try and get this working. I think if I go up just a touch more, that should be good. Like, it should be audible somewhat when I'm not speaking. So we'll give that a go. And if I actually make sure I'm on the right menu. Now, I think I have to select it. I mean, as I say, we've only got 4 gears. That's not ideal, and we've only got just over 200 horsepower because of the carburettor, the single barrel eco carb. I believe that's the issue that's restricting this and stopping it going quicker. It actually does corner well, which I guess you should expect from the suspension. Oh, very soft. I should have kind of expected that. It's not going to destroy the vehicle's handling, though. It's just very soft. Like, I know this thing probably needs to be stiffer. But no less, it has definitely got the grip, and it is going. So, I mean, I was following the drivability, so it shouldn't have been that bad. It's just made it very soft. It's not to the point it's going to be absolutely uncontrollable, or maybe it'll even level out when it gets faster. But I probably do just need to do a bit more fine-tuning to get this to work. It really does go, as I say, for something with 200 horsepower, this doesn't really hold back. It doesn't hang around too much. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It did not like braking at that kind of speed. And this corner is even worse. I was able to just carry it through there. Like, the one advantage it has, this, like, stopped incredibly well. I mean, like, at some points, like, 10 meters better than other cars. And that's because of how high-end the tyres are. I mean, this might drive better if you have an actual wheel. I'm currently on a controller, so that's not ideal. But it's going. I mean, the transmission isn't ideal either, but because it's a manual, I'm able to control it. And you see, I got so close to that wall of tyres there, but it made it. It's predictable. It's just, I feel like, not ideal in terms of overall config. And I don't think that's the car's fault, honestly. It's probably more my fault than anything. The suspension config is good. The brake config is not great, but you're able to get performance out of it because of the size of the wheels and such. And it looks interesting. It's much like that, the world's fastest watermelon even was the best comparison I can have that I built last stream, because that car was better than you'd think. And am I dropping more frames? I don't know. I shouldn't be checking this while I'm trying to drive. But that was the first lap. Okay, I could have thrown it away. I've thrown some cars off the track on that one corner I said that was very unpredictable. It had the brakes. The brakes were so amazing, though, that they could hold it back. Like, when I stepped on the brakes, the thing did slow. This is a nice little, sedan, nice little saloon, whatever you call it. I mean, I have to say, the wheel just made a lot of fairly logical decisions. It didn't really mess up. Oh dear, oh dear. Almost grip borrowed. I was pushing this, okay? I don't think I've done mechanical damage, thankfully. It does seem to drive straight. And I've probably not even lost that much time, but that's not the kind of thing you want to do when you want a quick lap. I mean, as I say, I think it took it. So, it is going. I mean, here is where you can feel it just doesn't have the power of some cars. But at the same time, it might make up for that by just braking incredibly well. So I want to lift here, I think. Bit of brakes. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. You see, I was just trying to control it there. I couldn't focus other than to say oh dear. Because, like, if I did focus less, I would have hit something, or I would have spun it at the very least. See, this is where the brakes help. Like, I'm already going off the circuit, but the brakes made that so I just barely went off the circuit and not more. I mean, as I say, everything on this is my fault for just messing up the cornering of the suspension, but the car is not at fault, actually. The tyres, yes, they're cross-ply, but they are still full-out race-grade tyres, so they do grip pretty good. Like, as you can imagine, these tyres, if this was in the 1960s, they wouldn't make tyres of this exact spec in the 60s, but if it was, these would have been, like, some of the best tyres you could get. And that includes race cars and everything, not just road cars. I mean, you probably can't hear it, but it sounds good to me. It is quiet, though, but it does have some sound to it. It's not completely whisper quiet. It's kind of what I would say the right volume for a road car to be. Like, you can hear it, you can enjoy the sound, but it's not so aggressively in your ear. And the one thing I can say, I feel like this kind of treatment in another car would have thrown it off by now. It does take bumps quite well, but I feel like if this car had maybe 110 horsepower, there would be nothing wrong with this suspension setup, but it's just a little too powerful for this suspension to actually work as well as it could. It's still quick on the suspension though, and it's nothing to do with the actual iffy config of the suspension components. That is just how I've tuned it and done a poor job of it. It also has a single exhaust, so I'll say that now. So, like, 6 of these exhausts at least are fake. But it's on brand. I mean, I think this car does follow its brief pretty well. Which, I had no idea what this brief was, but I think it's one of my favourite wheel cars, because it's just nice to drive for a start. It also just looks crazy. And it's a reference to actually a real car's styling trend in history, oh dear. You see, the second lap was pretty good. I think the second lap was probably my quickest. That's what happens, though, around that corner if I don't really keep it in. I mean, I think it's veering slightly to the left. The car isn't ruined. It's still cornering. Well, visually it's ruined, but it's still cornering. I mean, it's bound to be that as I was just pushing the car more and more, something was bound to happen. Fact is, the second lap was pretty solid. The first lap was pretty solid. I will have got a good time out of this. So, there's more to complain about in this world. Like me not even focusing on the screen because I'm trying to check for dropped frames, which are a real issue today. There's so many drop frames. I mean, at least I've got this on record. It's a good build. And the record will be better. It feels like the rear suspension may have just been completely, like, bent and messed up. I know that exhaust is pretty much touching the ground, so that's not ideal. But I feel like that's more a visual thing than anything. It doesn't feel like it's actually affecting the car's handling. Come on, third gear. I think you can pull it through. Yeah, I didn't like third gear around there. 4 gears, they work, but you really have to know what gear you're in, what gear you should be in. But if you use it properly, this gearbox is pretty capable. Okay, so let's see. We've done a 727. I don't know if that's the fastest, we'll have to see. Okay. In total, that was a 2:33. That was 2:25 at the maximum. I think that was probably the second lap. And the third was probably 2:33. The second lap was good, though, and we've beaten everything. This is like almost 6 seconds fastest than the world's fastest watermelon. And that was a good car when I built that last stream. Like, I knew this was good, but I never anticipated it being just so fast as it actually is. As I say, it's got a few handling issues, but it actually properly corners. Who would have thought 2 of the crazy looking vehicles would have actually been the quickest? So if we go see the maps. Yeah, here's a few of them we've got. The wheel disaster box, that's just something I built in my own time and then use that as a thumbnail. Okay, so we've got vehicle config. No. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. We need to go to free roam. I feel like West Coast could be fun to throw some of these stuff around. So we'll go next step. And we'll go find where it is. Where is the world's fastest watermelon as well? So typically if we search wheel, that's all the wheel builds. So there we go. It beats the Mystery Party Wagon for power, but that's not actually an issue. It's about 500 kilos lighter than that. So we've got the Toasty Wheels Turbo. I should have called it RS Turbo, to be honest. But it works. I mean, I'm more than happy with what we achieved today. We've made a quick and generally good handling car. For a randomizer, this could have been a lot worse. It actually made some pretty good conventional decisions, and it really played out because the fairly conventional performance car decisions made a good car in general. As in, this is the kind of car that you could see legitimately existing if you strip away all the fancy stuff. It seems to also take a while. I mean, I know there's a lot going on in West Coast USA, so that's probably why. Like, a lot of stuff to load in. Assets, as they call them. Come on. You're taking a lot of time, aren't you? I don't know. we do get to look at a Brukel 8, though. Which is probably not in any config as quick as this one we just built. I mean, as I say, I'm more than happy with it. And it all seems to have loaded in at once. Kind of. There we go. So, I'm going to also get the world's fastest watermelon, which I built last time, because it's the second car on the leaderboard. So, you know, could make for an interesting comparison. They are both like crazy kind of rainbow coloured vehicles. Now, this gives me much more touring car vibes. That, what's it called? The turbo something or other? I forget. What's it? Toasty wheels. That was it. The Toasty Wheels Turbo, yeah. Very loud. I think you could... Yeah, okay. I think you could see back there when I scraped that wall. This is not quite as predictable. They're both on cross-ply tyres, but... The other one kind of... I feel it grip rolls because there's just so much grip available. On, like, actual full-out race tyres. This, I think, is on medium cross-ply road tyres, so... It works, it's quick, but it's not ideal. It's not like the ideal configuration. This is somewhat better, so if we drive it down to the same place, you'll see it takes a bit of a time to get going. Once it's going, though, it carries its speed quite well. Oh dear. There's clearly more grip here, though. Like, where it's going wrong is just because I've completely messed up the suspension. It needs to be stiffer to properly make use of this power. But even with the slightly iffy skewered suspension setup, you can probably see there's just incredible grip here, but it somewhat makes up for the less than perfect transmission and less than perfect engine power. Which, speaking of, the engine is not the most powerful thing. It is solid, like it puts down power and it puts down torque in a very good, consistent way. Like, I'm not worrying about turbo lag because it's supercharged, even though it says turbo on. So that's something I think we have. Would it do any good on the dirt? Because they are like rain tyres. You know what? For something that is literally a variant of racing slicks, it doesn't do near as bad on dirt as I would have, or sand, I guess. Sandy dirt, which it doesn't do near as bad as I would have expected. So, if we can stop here. I think I'm more than pleased. We'll just try turning the lights on. There is apparently a light in the middle. Somehow that was a thing. It's got a hidden middle light. We have the ugly tail lights, which do their job, I guess, because they just try flashing them. And there we go. For now, I will call it a day. We're going to throw this off the side of the road, as I will say, goodbye, until another day.